Welcome back to Against the Cage. Scott Fontana here with Liverpool's own Paddy Pimblett, who on Saturday will vie for the interim lightweight title against Justin Gaethje in the main event of UFC 324. So, Paddy, we haven't seen you in action since that big win over Michael Chandler last April. So about 9 months, right? That's kind of the cadence that we've had for your career the last like 3 or 4 fights, 8 to 12 months or so. Do you prefer it like that, or would you like to be a little more active or less active now that you're getting especially into that championship picture?
No, not really. I didn't plan on this happening. I thought I was fighting Justin in October. I thought me and him were fighting on the Abu Dhabi card, and he said no. He's only fighting for the title. So it's crazy how it's all ended up happening because now we are fighting and it's for the interim title.
Sure, sure. Obviously you guys, your numbers 4 and 5 in the UFC's own rankings. Gaethje, obviously, he's been a fixture of the top of the division for years, right? Former interim champion himself. You're still kind of establishing your resume, right? But you have a chance to get to the top already. How do you feel about kind of the level of challenge that you face to get to this point in terms of your opponents?
Yeah, well, I've stepped up every single fight I've had. You know what I mean? Every fight's been a tougher opposition. Um, every single fight I have, everyone says I'm gonna get beat, but then I win and the goalposts get moved and that person's washed. I beat Michael Chandler last, who was ranked seven in the world. He just went 5 rounds with Charles Oliveira, and nobody complained when Charles Oliveira got a title shot. But when I beat him and absolutely dog walking for 3 rounds after Charles nearly got finished in the fifth, it's a travesty. But that's what happens when it's me.
You seem to let it roll off your shoulders though. You don't seem to stress it too much.
No, I don't give a flying lad.
Sure, sure. Now, look, I'd like to talk a little bit actually about you have some championship experience from your days in Cage Warriors. You had been the featherweight champion there. You defended that belt. You lost belt title fights at 45 and 55, but that's a lot of experience you have coming into this one, regional title nonetheless. How much does gaining that experience on the regional scene help prepare you for your first UFC title shot?
Yeah, people keep saying, "Oh, your first 5 round fights." I've fought 25 minutes 3 times. I've prepared for 6 5 round fights now, including the Michael Chandler fight. I'm ready to go 25 minutes. People are questioning me cardio, which I think is hilarious. I'm the fittest I've ever been. I've never been in this sort of shape. I just can't wait to shut all the doubters up come Saturday night. It's not gonna go 25 minutes, don't get me wrong. He's gonna get absolutely smoked. But for now, we get on with
Why do you feel like this is when you're in the best shape? You're like, what's the secret here?
it. Each fight I've just got better at it. Like I've got this fight, I actually had a full like 8 and a bit weeks to prepare. Where Michael Chandler fight, we got told yeah it's happening 6 weeks out, so I had to focus a lot on my weight cut and stuff like that. Now my weight's in a better place already than it was um the night before. The night before the last weigh-in. Know what I mean? So I'm fitter than I've ever been. I'm doing 5 rounds easily. Me I done a fight sim the other day, which is 25 minutes non-stop work, 5 5s, and I look better in the fourth and fifth round than I did in the first. And I just can't wait, lad. I'm getting excited. I've never been this excited for a fight before. I've never been this prepared for a fight before. Don't think I've ever went into a fight before with like no injuries like this.
So there's obviously, and not that you'd be making excuses anyway, and not implying that, but obviously you're saying, "Hey, look, this is me at my best.
Yeah.
You're whatever you get, that's the best of me." You're also coming into this one. This is the first time you do have to hit that 155 on the button, but you're saying you're in good shape here. This is going to be an easier weight cut, even with the extra pound.
Even with the Michael Chandler fight was an easy weight cut, lad. I done £14 overnight for that very easily. But I've only got that to do now or something. So I'm gonna have less than that to do when it comes to actually getting in the bath the night before and getting on the scales on Friday. Yeah, as I say, last time when I got back from the press conference, I was 170.5 and I had to be 156 the next morning. And I done that easily. This time I'm like 171 now. So it's going to be an easy weight cut after these few days water loading and drop a couple more pounds.
Sure, sure. I'll let you have that. But while you do, you've mentioned before in other interviews that you have this vision for like a third round knockout of Justin Gaethje, right? I was speaking with Justin the other day. I know he's hoping to drag this into those deep waters. You're saying you're ready for those, but I'm curious. I mean, if it does go there and goes past that point, you're like, hey, I think it's really going to happen here. How much does that change your mentality? Just the fact that it's gotten to a place you weren't really envisioning it.
I envision it going everywhere. I never actually said the third round. I just said he won't get past the third. So I envision myself finishing in the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. I'm winning by decision. Um, the only way Justin wins this fight is if he lands a big overhand or an egg kick, and he's not going to land them. And even if he does, I'll laugh in his face because I don't get knocked out. And I don't see where he can beat me. To be honest, I genuinely don't. I've got a funny feeling he's going to come out and shoot a takedown lad, and try and take me down. That's how I've lost fights in the past on Cage Warriors, getting wrestled by bigger, stronger men. But that is when I was a child. I was still a kid back then. I could get muscled like that and where I was oversized, undersized by bigger men who were on steroids. But now it's not like that anymore.
Now, you don't have any animosity with Gaethje, and he doesn't have any animosity with you. But I'm curious, do you like it better this way, where maybe you guys aren't at each other's throats, or do you get to a point even in fight week where you're like, maybe I need to find some reasons to be a little angrier at him?
No, not at all. Like this Michael Chandler fight was the same, and then the Bobby Green fight was a bit different. But no matter what happens, no matter how you're at with each other, we're gonna get locked in a cage together. So that's all that matters. Me and him standing across from each other, staring at each other, and then who implements their game plan better, and it's gonna be me.
Now you picture, like you said, you could imagine him, he'd go for a takedown right off the bat, right? Obviously, he does have that wrestling chops there. You have spoken about the confidence in your own wrestling, what you feel you showed against Michael Chandler, getting him taken down. I asked Gaethje about that as well. I was kind of curious of his thoughts on that Gaethje situation. He was a little more dismissive, said, Chandler tired himself out trying to get you down. Do you kind of expect Gaethje's defensive wrestling or even his offensive wrestling to be stiffer than you've faced in the UFC?
No, I think his wrestling is so overrated. Like wrestling and MMA wrestling are two completely different things. Like Americans overrate wrestling from Americans so much that it's ridiculous. Oh, he was a collegiate one level wrestler. So what? It's a different sport. It doesn't matter. Like I'm a better MMA wrestler than Justin Gaethje is. People can laugh at that all he wants, but if I want to take him down on Saturday night, I will take him down, and he won't be able to stop me. And that famous quote of his, one person's gonna hold him down, mate. Believe me.
Now, I want to ask you too, because obviously you're talking about the wrestling, your MMA wrestling. You got started in the sport kind of really more as MMA, correct? Do I understand correctly? It
Yeah,
was
I
it was
just
really
started doing MMA. I never, obviously, I excelled at jiu-jitsu to begin with, but I didn't box and then come from MMA. I didn't jiu-jitsu and come from MMA. I always wanted to be an MMA fighter, where he's a wrestler turned MMA fighter, where now he's basically a wrestler turned boxer with leg kicks.
That's what we've kind of seen though. Like over the years, there was all this talk about like UFC is going to be, we're going to get people who just come up and their style is MMA. Is that what's most successful about, just the fact that you tended to go in that direction? Do you feel like that has been a key for you to just be well-rounded off the bat, even from when you were coming up?
Yeah, definitely. That is why I am so well-rounded. I still think it's crazy when I watch people's videos that they train everything separately. They'll go to one coach for jiu-jitsu, they'll go to one coach for wrestling, they'll go to one coach for striking. It's like, what the are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, I train MMA, I train everything in one go. And these older generation fighters are just stuck in their old ways. And it's going to show on Saturday when I show everyone what the next generation's about.
Gaethje famously dropped the belt when he got it around his waist, the interim belt, a bunch of years back. That belt goes around your waist. What are you doing with it? Are you keeping it there? Do you feel good about it? Or do
Yeah,
you just say, you know what, it's the next step?
no, I am the champion. While the Chirizo is not fighting, I am the champion. So that's it. Simple as. I am the best lightweight in the world until he comes back. And then when he comes back, I'm gonna beat him and prove I am the best lightweight in the world anyway.
Now, he was sounding like, for a while, it sounded like he wasn't going to be back in the first half of the year. And just the other day, you probably saw this, he tweeted he's looking to get the interim champion in either April, May, or June. How does that timeline sound?
That's not happening. July.
No?
End of June if he's lucky. Start of July. I think whenever international fight week is, they'll probably want to do me versus him on that.
So no interest in the White House card then?
No.
I was curious about that too, because obviously you're not American, and this is a big anniversary for America, independence from Britain, so that has absolutely no significance to you then.
Doesn't have any significance to me, even the fact I'm from Britain. I don't really care. It's not even about that either. It's about that it'd be limited capacity. Only certain people will be invited, and I have a big set of friends and family who come and watch me fight. Like they wouldn't all be able to come, so I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't do it because I want all my friends and family who've been there since day one to be able to come and support me.
Okay, okay. Now, obviously, and look, it's no secret that you and Topuria, you've got history. There's a lot of animosity, real animosity between you guys going back years. He was still a featherweight at the time. You weren't quite in the title picture, still a rising prospect. Do you foresee I mean, back then, did you foresee the potential that you guys would be like one fight away from fighting, not just a fight that's big because of you guys, but big because of the stage, the lightweight title?
Thought we could always end up fighting. I didn't think it'd end up being like this. I didn't think he was that good. I'll be honest, I didn't think he was that good. I thought he was. He did use my name to climb the rankings faster. He did. Let's just be honest about that. He wouldn't have got a title shot so fast if he didn't start all that shit with me. But he's a phenomenal fighter. Hats off to him. I didn't think he was that good, but just like he proved people wrong, showing how good he was, that's what I'm gonna do. People still doubt me, and look, we'll see what happens.
This weekend could be the point where people realize how good you are, and they start taking those buffers
No,
off, right? No, no,
no.
definitely not, huh?
Goalposts get moved, lad. Every single time. It's gonna happen again. We're gonna move the goalposts and say, "Oh, Justin was old. He's retiring. This and that." Paddy only fights people out the old people's zone. What am I meant to do, lad? When most of the best lightweights are getting old. Know what I mean?
I mean, look, if you win this one though, the next guy is Topuria. You go out and beat him. He is not old. He's very much in his prime, and he's considered
But
one of
when
the
I
best.
do
Does that
beat
does that
him,
change it?
no, when I do beat him, it'll be, oh, Ilya was too small for 155. He only beat an old Charles. He's not good enough. He wasn't big enough to fight Paddy. And then if I beat Armin, it'll be, oh, Armin sat out for a year. He hasn't been active enough. You know, every excuse comes out when I win.
Last question for you. You bring up Armin. I did want to ask you, and look, I know you felt pretty similarly to a lot of people. He had his shot, didn't he kind of shot himself in the foot, right? That wasn't able to weigh in last year. Obviously, there was a whole thing with Dan Hooker, the headbutt in November too. That didn't seem to do him any favors. If it were up to you, let's say you're in Dana White's shoes, you get to make these choices and that kind of thing. When should a guy in his position, who many people think is, the top contender in the weight class who doesn't have a belt, when should he get to fight for the title again?
He needs to go and win another fight, doesn't he? He needs to stay active. He needs to not turn people down. As you say, the Dan Hooker thing, pulling out the night before, he also turned down Gamrot. He also punched the fan on his way out of the cage because he's a spoiled little brat and he expects everything on a plate because he's been served everything on a silver platter with caviar his whole life because of daddy's money. So go and work your way back up like you've been told, lad. Go and beat Gamrot in that rematch. Stay active because you're not fighting for the belt anytime soon. I'm gonna beat Gaethje, and then I'm gonna beat Ilya, and then after that, he might get his title shot. But there's other people in the division. You know what I mean? If Max Holloway beats Charles or the other way round, they could end up getting the title shot. So Armin, you've got to stay active. Like I know I've only fought once a year for the past few years, but that's with injuries. My wife had twins, other people turning me down. You can't turn fights down. I've never turned a fight down. Every single time the UFC have offered me a contract, I have signed my name on it and then fought that person. I don't pull out the night before with back pain when really you just can't make weight. He just wants everything served to him on a silver platter, lad. Like, people call me fat. All I've seen people sending me on Instagram as I'm traveling around eating food and putting squash and burgers together. You know what I mean? He needs to grow up, lad. He needs to get out of daddy's pocket.